Hi, good night everyone. Not sure if this is working as I've never done one of these before and I usually am not good with technology, but hey, as the topic would imply, I'm trying to see if we could start a discussion on what a devaluation would mean for Barbados. And well, just to give a backstory, a lot of the times we know something may not be a good thing, but we don't know why. We have a lot of persons who are experts that talk about the particular topic at hand, and some of the information goes over our heads. What I'm going to try to do is to see if I can break it down to a basic form so that we can have a discussion with persons who didn't go to school and learn about these things and know what everybody talking about from a technical perspective. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is some of the main reasons why a country will want to devaluate its dollar. As most of you may or may not know, Barbados' dollar is pegged to the US dollar, and there's a 2-for-1 exchange, 1 US dollar for 2 Barbadian dollars. The proposal would obviously mean that you would need more Barbadian currency for 1 US dollar. And there was recent talk in the Barbados Today online newspaper about us possibly devaluating our dollar. Now, there are many reasons why persons would want to devalue a dollar, but the question is, how would this benefit Barbados? The first reason most people would do so is to boost exports. Now, the first question that I had in my mind is, what Barbados is really export? To be quite honest, I had to sit down and struggle to think about what we export other than sugar and rum. And I did a little research on the OECS website, and I did realize that we do export a bit more than I thought. Some of the top exports that we would have had, and I made my notes because I ain't got no super memory like a lot of other people, but the top of the list was refined petroleum, coming in at $95 million. Cruises, which I don't know why I didn't think of that, because cruise ships is coming to Barbados all the time, and that reckoning $70 million. Liquor, $46 million. Medication at $44 million, and cement at $28 million. Those were the top exports for Barbados. And they say, yeah, boy, we actually got some money here. And that added to $283 million in exports. Then I look at the list for our imports. And just off of the refined petroleum alone, we just import $440 million in petroleum. So it didn't even make no sense going to the other things. I was just like, we dead. So the idea that the devaluation of the dollar will help boost exports, I would like to see the numbers that give them the idea that we would be able to boost our exports to the point where it would somehow match or come close to the amount of money we spend on imports. So that's the first idea behind the devaluation. The second one would come from shrinking the trade deficit, because you're expected to decrease the amount of imports when you devalue the dollar, because obviously it now becomes more expensive to import, and the market would be expected to follow suit by not importing as much. If you're not importing as much and you're boosting your exports, then you should, in theory, have a smaller net deficit in terms of imports versus exports. Again, I would have called the numbers for you. We have approximately, just from off of the top numbers, $285 million in imports and $625 million in imports. That leaves us with $342 million as a net. I do not know, again, what the plan is, how they envision that this will somehow become a smaller net, but I would like to see the numbers again behind it, because having theories and having research are two different things. How are we making sure that what we are hoping for in theory will actually come about in practice? I don't see the research, I don't see the numbers, I just see a lot of theories being thrown about and a lot of ideas being thrown about. The last thing, which is the most critical part in my opinion, because this is probably the reason why the government is pushing for the devaluation, it makes debt that we owe to overseas a lot cheaper. So for instance, I would have again done some research and I looked at the financials for Barbados, and we currently have a deficit because, we spend real enough money, and yeah. $698 million in deficit. We also have total liabilities of $12.4 billion and net debt of $9.3 billion. Now, granted, if we did devalue our dollar, what happens is, instead of me having to give you 10 Barbados dollars in exchange for this one US, I may only have to give you 8 because now my dollar is worth less. So yes, I will have to pull less Barbadian currency to be able to pay back my debts. But again, has the research been done to make sure that this benefit is worth all the other disadvantages that will come about from having devalued our dollar? Because we cannot also go willy-nilly devaluing the dollar because it benefits us in terms of reducing our debt, and we have an environment where it is widely known that our net imports versus exports is ridiculous, and we go back to a situation where it becomes exponentially more expensive for Barbadians to buy anything in this country. And as most of you already know, it's already extremely difficult to buy anything in this country because it's extremely expensive. The cost of living in Barbados is very high. So I heard the comments dropped, I will not call any names because nobody ain't locking me up, about ministers saying that you do not need an economist to give you help about the economy. I hope that he's good to heat car washer to go and get his teeth clean, or good to the flower shop to go and get his neck surgery sorted out. It does not make sense to me that you will not have an economist on board giving you an analysis. And I'm not saying you have to give the public everything, but you should be breaking down the information in a way that the average person will be able to understand how it is that you came up with these ideas. How is it a good idea? Instead of you throwing these things out and then using what I call band-aid measures through salary increases promised to government workers and new jobs and these kind of things that will, yes, probably get you a vote, but they do not solve the real problem, or they distract people from the real issues that you are not able to speak on. So I hope, I have not been reading the comments, sorry, because I can't focus, but I hope that this video has helped. I hope that people will at least be able to start the discussion and start asking the important questions that are necessary for our politicians to answer before anybody in this country gets our vote. And whoever does eventually get our vote, that they are held accountable for these very important and critical issues, because the people that matter most in this country, which is me and you, we're the ones that are going to suffer if these kind of decisions are made without proper consultation. There's the finish button. Everybody have a good night, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. Thanks and lots of love.